What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, one thing I'm thinking about trying to do is, for one, trying to be consistent on doing roughly only like 2 to 3, probably aiming at 3, but probably 3 videos a day, and probably only like 3 days a week for the channel. I'm trying to get definitive here. All right. More than likely, probably like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is where I'm going to play it. Like I said, about 3 videos a day. And I want to try to get to where at least one of the videos is just sort of a random fun kind of thing. Nothing that's on any kind of serious topic. Although, I mean, you could argue this could be considered a serious topic. I don't know. Or just how serious it is. So for today, for today's randomness, has anybody been paying attention to the Trump White House? Like, specifically, well, there's multiple things, but specifically the Oval Office and like before, after what he's been doing. I mean, he's been in the background. I think we've seen it over the past few months, little by little, but in the background, there's been a major overhaul of the Oval Office. And now, while every president has their ability to make little, and I think every president pretty much has made little subtle changes, and it's more like just what might be placed on the wall here or there, what might be like. I mean, they always have the choice of changing, of selecting their desk, selecting like the Oval Office rug, and like what pictures may be placed up. But like, Trump has been doing significant, specific changes to the Oval Office that I just wanted to just touch on and get your opinions on. So I'm going to swap over here real quick. And I just realized something. There we go. I had considered not doing another video, and so I had swapped my logo up here, up there, here, whatever. And then I just realized I need to swap it back. Okay. Because this is ClearTalk. All right, swapping over. Before and after photos shows changes Trump has made to the White House decor. And this is from Business Insider. I want to say somewhere around, I think like the 14th of August is when they put this out, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Well, updated the 4th of August, my bad. 4th. I was close. I had the 4 right. All right. And as you see here, it's been kind of noted that there's been more gold. You know, Trump has an obsession with gold. Although I would argue, I'm not completely certain it's necessarily like legit real gold, or more like just the plated, gold look like fake gold, imitation gold, but whatever. But he has an obsession with things looking gold at the very least. And there's been some significant changes. So it shows you Donald Trump brought his love of maximalism and gold furnishings to the Oval Office. He added gold embellishments to the wall, ceiling, trim, fireplace, mantle. He's also renovated the Rose Garden and announces plans to build a ballroom in the East Wing. So we're going to touch on all of that. And I'm mostly I'm not going to really sit here and read this shit. Okay. I'm just going to look at the pictures. And because basically they're given like back and forth. Let me, for a second here, let me blow this, not that, and blow this up. 150, would that make an adjustment? Maybe. We're at 200% there. Maybe that's enough to make a decent, so you can see things a little better. Okay. So this is the Oval Office under Biden. Now, like I'm not. I'm just. We're going to specifically look real quick at before Trump got in, and then now. This is, like I said, this is for fun. This is not to be too crazy critical or anything, but just like it's an interesting thing that I feel like to talk about. So here we are. You can see it's Novels is basically kind of just subtle. Everything is subtle. It's just sort of subtle little artistic like engravements and stuff along edging walls or whatnot. It's very just sort of, like I said, subtle. There's no really like anything that necessarily stands out in any kind of color or whatnot. You have the blue rug that Biden, which, whatever, you get that. It's, Democrat, blue, whatever, probably why he picked it. Or maybe he just really likes it the way he looked. I don't know. A couple of pictures here, but nothing like crazy. All right. This shows the rug, and this was specifically about the rug, blue rug. This shows the rug under his first administration. This is Trump's first administration, so this is the rug, and I think this is pretty much the rug he went with this time as well. But then we get to, okay, so here is just, Joe Biden looking confused as usual. And we're gonna have a conversation about that tomorrow as well, about the arguments around Trump's health and comparisons and stuff. We're gonna have a talk about that. That's gonna be our little fun one tomorrow. But this is talking about the resolute. This is, I guess, just pointing out the disc and the flags mostly. I think this is kind of pointless. But what I wanted to get to, you have a video call here. It shows kind of the upper idea here. Like I said, you got subtle little engravements, decorations around things in the Oval Office. Well, this is the Trump one. As you see, he has put in these gold sort of, I guess he would call enhancements, trimming around the ceiling. Okay, well, all right, that's cool, whatever. We have the Oval Office from the fireplace where they do a lot of those, interviews with leaders and stuff, whatnot. And a couple of pictures here. They look like they're in these old stylish frames and whatnot. Probably original style for these frames. They probably haven't really been, I don't know, maybe they've been renewed over time. Who knows? They don't really look like they've been that much though, but whatever. But now we're getting, okay, this is, you see here, just a few pictures. Everything was pretty clean. Now we're done overloaded. We got a whole lot of pictures, and somebody, okay, whatever. He just wants to give, reference to a lot of the. Although I'm not sure if these are all presidents or some generals, and I don't know if maybe these are all presidents. I can't just straight up. I can see a lot of them are, but then we have a gold trimming things here, whatever. All these gold things across the top of the fireplace mantle, and then we've got these also gold little things, decorations that have been planted across because this looks smooth. It doesn't look like it had anything there. But one thing I also want to point out is look at these tables. See the tables here? They're kind of steel, old-fashioned wooden tables. Well, look here. They've all been gold trimmed. Or maybe completely replaced. Maybe these are completely new tables. They still have the same statue. I can't see this statue because of this moron's head. I know who it is. I said that on purpose. But then you got this gold figurine thing of a eagle here, I'm assuming. I don't know what's over here. But you can clearly see that he's going all golded out here and adding in all these different things. And Also incorporated small gold details such as a coaster branded with his name, whatever. Here is the Oval Office, the presidential seal that's on the ceiling, like dead center, straight up, on the ceiling. This is before. It's just sort of a subtle, like everything else has been kind of just engraved thing on the ceiling, not meant to really be just straight out like obvious. But now here is the Trump detailed embellishment that he's done. All the gold stars, had the identifier here completely kind of, I wouldn't even say golded out, more like bronzed out, but whatever. To really make it jump. I'm surprised they didn't even put a gold ring here, but whatever. This one is sort of silly, but Biden had a picture on the kind of entrance hallway. He had a picture of Barack, his portrait. I think that's stupid. Just to be honest, I think that's stupid. Like, whatever. But that's what he picked. And of course Trump picked his and even oversized for this section. They can't even keep it. It's not even this should make an OCD person lose their fucking mind. An oversized picture for this space of his a painting at that of him in his assassination attempt. From the entrance hallway. Whatever. But here's the one thing also been talked about lately is the Rose Garden. The Rose Garden was first introduced in 1913, or was like created by Lady Ellen Wilson. And Melania Trump first, I think, did some. She shows here she added some limestone border in 2020, but now the latest thing here is that the Rose Garden is being completely resurfaced with pavement, with these paved square blocks and stuff, like to completely because Trump felt that the grass was just too grassy, too wet, too moist, wasn't efficient, wasn't I guess one might could even argue safe. I don't know. For the high heels, because Trump wants people in high heels to walk across and sit for any type of So this was it before, but the idea was that it was a rose garden. It was supposed to be something to represent nature, the grass, the greenery. That was the, like, I think I would assume anyways. I'm not saying that I'm in the mind of Ellen Wilson, but the idea since its creation and onward has been that it's just supposed to be this, I feel, an idea around earthiness, right? Trying to bring, even if it's just for show, trying to bring the idea of politics, these speeches that he may give on the lawn, an earthiness, a down to earth, casual feel. But now it's going to be a little less gardeny. And I'm not sure that I'm assuming it's still under construction. Maybe it's complete by now, but yeah. So that's a major, and this one, and they even added in here, it's like a $200 million cost that he claims him along with some prominent Republican supporters are paying for. And then the other big thing was that, there's on the East Wing, they sometimes do these little like dinners, balls, whatever. The area that's there as far as that's designated or building or whatnot, I think only holds around 200 people. And previous presidents would occasionally do, it says here, state put up like decorative tents, like in the instance here of Biden hosting something to hold like an additional 300 people or so if they wanted to add, if it was a bigger event than what the current facility would hold. But Trump wants to add in a 650 capacity ballroom, which we've talked about before. Apparently this is Levitt. I'm assuming this maybe, I don't know what part of this is technically supposed to be the ballroom, or unless this whole damn picture here, the whole damn building is, I don't know. That seems like that would hold more than 650, but maybe, I don't know, 90,000 square foot ballroom. 90,000. Okay, that probably is that entire building. I don't know. Well, and will approximately cost $200 million to construct. Okay, so I'm sorry, I got that backwards. I'm fixing myself. This was not $200 million. The ballroom's $200 million. Did I state the ballroom's $200 million? What? I don't know. I feel like I got that backwards. I'm not sure how much this cost, but and I don't even think it states it. But yeah, those are the kind of things that's been going on at the White House. But my biggest thing really is just this whole gold plating of the Oval Office and everything. Just seems a bit odd. I don't know. And I feel, here's my thing. And I'm going to try to make this quick. I feel like the idea of there being just subtleness with the Oval Office, and that what changes have been made by presidents in the past, is the idea that this is only your place for max 8 years. So it was never really like, everything that was changed was sort of just inanimate object type of thing, like the rug, something that can be just quickly changed out, not a big deal. It's not making any kind of major change to the main look or construction of the Oval Office. It was just, some pictures that could be taken up, changed, moved, floor, desks, things like that. But, and I don't feel like any president did any major changes to the point where it felt like they were changing it specifically for them. As like to stamp themselves in a way that other future potential presidents or whatever would have to acknowledge or would not be able to change. I mean, I guess you could argue, yes, they could change it if they wanted to. If they wanted to remove all this, they could. Although it would take a lot of work and money. And then you have the argument of, are we just wasting money on constantly, like, completely, renovating this Oval Office, president to president? That just sounds silly. So it's like, you start to get this sense that Trump is doing these changes, stamping his name, his identity, his the things that are important to him, like the gold embellishments. I'm honestly surprised that even back here his name plate hasn't been placed, Trump or some shit but you almost get this sense that he is making his mark. He is putting his stamp on this Oval Office as if, even though, literally he cannot be there forever, but like figuratively or in spirit, he has stamped this Oval Office in a way where you can't deny his that he's there or was there. And that feels, I don't know, for me it feels a little, not only kind of icky, but like in somewhat of an overreach, an over statement. No, not even that's the wrong word. Like, or well, an overstatement in the fact that he is that important. But it almost seems concerning, like the underthought of, you get this sense that him along with the people around him feel like he's not going anywhere, or that they are going to make sure, because there's always been this talk about how he's not going to like they're like he's not going anywhere, like he's going to run again in 28, and that, or that, or they're, even him joking apparently the other day with Zelensky about canceling the 2028 election if we were quote unquote in a war, which we're going to talk about, but like in a later video. It just, I don't know. It just comes across a little like, dude. And you have to question his priorities. I don't know. I could see where you could look at it and be like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just some decor. It can be changed at any point. True enough. But at the same time, I think it's somewhat, in some degree, kind of gives the, or it's kind of a subtle acknowledgement of the mindset that Trump has in where he stands, where and or what his influence, or like how he will be viewed in the future by history. I mean, he already thinks that he's like the best president ever. His followers think he's the best president ever. So you see where I'm going? You see where I'm getting at? Hopefully you see where I'm getting at. Like, I'm not trying to be too serious about this, but at the same time, there is a small degree that you have to think, there could be something here that's revealing, right? I don't know. So let me know what you think. Is this just embellishment for embellishment's sakes, and it just completely pointless or meaningless? It doesn't make any difference, or you don't care? That's cool. I get it. I get that. Or do you think that there might be something more revealing or telling about these types of things being done? You could say, well, yeah, maybe it needed an improvement. Maybe some of these things, aren't that big a deal. And if it had been just like one or two of these things, I would say, yeah, that you're right. That's not a big a deal. But it's so much being done. I mean, like for instance, I don't think this is that huge of a deal. If this had been the only thing changed, I'd be like, well, you might, I could see where an argument that is actually an improvement. But when you start to look at like all of these changes being done, all of these, like, and the fact that it will be stamped in history, that especially if these changes aren't undone by anybody, that, Donald Trump did this. It will be in history stamped that, yes, these things were updated and changed by Donald Trump. And maybe the only hardcore things are like this symbol here. Maybe the decorations here on the these are probably removable, but the decorations, and maybe these are too. But these are they removable? I don't know. I don't know if they're easily removable or if these were literally like permanently placed. I don't know, but it's interesting. So, anyways, I didn't even forgot that I was no longer on that. What I meant was I could see where real quick, I could see where you could argue that this change wasn't a big deal. Like, that's probably an improvement, but like this right here being possible to be removed or not, or these being removed or not. I don't know if they're permanent changes or what, like, and those are the only things that I guess you could argue really are quote unquote potentially permanent. So it's like, okay, whatever, maybe, but like I said, that's putting the stamp there that, in future history, it sounds weird, but future history will, designate that these changes were made. If they're not undone, these changes were made. That's what I meant. These changes were made by Trump. So it's a way of stamping, like I said. Anyways, all right. That's it. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think. And yeah. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Peace. ClearTalk. I'm out.